So you've got TJ Dillashaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he deserves you?
I do think TJ deserves me. That even sounds a little bit weird to say. I don't really think of myself as either higher or lower than anyone. I know that any fighter can be beat on any day. I know that I've been working my ass off the last however long I started. The day one that I walked into the gym, I've been working my ass off. I've been working my ass off the whole suspension that he's been on, and I don't really look at it whether he deserves me or not. I don't really look at TJ as some cheater or blah, 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 or some former training partner or some former champion, whatever TJ is. TJ's another guy in the way, and he's another guy that has to get out of the way in order for me to accomplish my dreams, and that's who TJ is to me.
That's cool. That's a good answer, man. What do you think to ring rust? Do you think that's going to be like a factor in this, and will you look to capitalize on stuff like that?
I try to give my opponent every excuse that he's going to be the best version of him that I can. I think when you start playing with the idea of creating any type of expectation of the person not being at their very best, you're playing with really dangerous waters. And TJ is not someone to be played with. I'm not going to play him down because he's been on a suspension. I'm not going to play him down because he's had his surgeries. I'm not going to play it down because of him being off of drugs. I'm not playing any of that down. I'm gonna go in and be the best version of me that I can. I've been working my fucking ass off for the last, I don't know when it clicked. It really fired me up when I lost against ALJO, and I'm a different person now. And but no, as far as conversation about TJ goes, I'm expecting the 100% best version of him that there is. So the way that the title shot went was obviously strange. Like the fight just in general was a very awkward fight in my opinion. I think I was a little bit happy that it went the way that it did, only because you never know what's going to happen in this sport. And I know that Jan was talking a lot about fighting TJ after that fight. And I wanted that fight against TJ. TJ's a big name, he's a former champ, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted that fight. And the fact that the fight went the way that it did only solidified my fight with TJ a little bit more, because I was even in talks even before that title match had happened. When that happened, I knew that I was, 99% sure that I was going to fight TJ. So, Jan maybe did me a favor a little bit in some weird sense by just solidifying the guy that he wanted to fight. Now I get to fight the guy, so attaboy. I think every single camp that I go through, I find some way to make it a little bit harder. I would say that since about a year ago-ish now, I've really added in a ton of mental preparation and mental peaking. So what I mean by that is just like a lot of visualizations, a lot of different types of meditations, not just kind of the ones that calm you down, kind of the ones that build you up also. And just kind of, playing with the insides of my mind and kind of, exploring those deeper and deeper and figuring out what voices are in there more and more. And I've added just more of that. That I feel like are things that, you can either watch trash television at night, which I 100% fully enjoy. It's one of my favorite ways to go down at the end of the night. But I make sure that I'm exploring and figuring out everything that's happening inside of me, because this is a really difficult sport on the body and on the brain and on your life and everything. So you have to make sure that you know what you're doing it for and who you are inside at all times, because it will whisk you away really quickly. So just adding in more of that is kind of what I'm capable of doing, because at the end of the week my body's shot every single week. If it's not Saturday, I crush myself so that it is completely killed by the end of the week. That's the way that I train. But adding in mental things is something that you always can do. And then after you knock out a full day of training and mental stuff, and then it's time to wind down with some trashiest TV that we can get,
I was gonna say, man, because we're in a pretty interesting state right now where you can kind of reflect inside you with cannabis, microdosing magic mushrooms and things like that. Now, is that something you've ever thought of, or something you've ever tried?
I don't know that I'm ready to go as far as what I'll say about my experiences with that yet in my life. You know, I don't know that I've spent too much time exploring the herbal ways of exploring your mind. I'm all for those things. I find for myself, I like to do it through meditation. I think that it's very similar.
Is that transcendental meditation?
Yep. Sometimes those. Sometimes I really like doing these Akashic Records meditations. Have you heard of that?
I've not. It sounds interesting. I'm really interested in those.
Yes.
What's that exactly?
So Akashic Records, they're just silly kind of YouTube video. It's almost a hypnosis, you know, like all of the meditations are almost the exact same, where they get you super relaxed, they get you focused on your breath, they get you really grounded, they really get you inside of yourself and not outside of yourself, and then they kind of walk you through this visualization of you're entering into a library, you open a book, in that book is the answer to whatever question you have. So I do a lot of those actually. I spend a lot of time. Those are actually probably my favorite ones to do. And just the wisdom that's hidden way deep inside of your like very relaxed body is super cool and super interesting. I'm sure that, you know, smoking weed and a little bit of mushrooms and stuff likely does a very similar thing. For me, it's just, you know, the YouTube, get myself relaxed. They walk me through, and then it's really crazy what you'll find out inside of all of the clutter that happens inside of your mind.
Have you got a specific channel that you go to for that?
So there's it's mostly based off of time. So some of them are 20 minutes, some of them are 40, some of them are 60 minutes, and I'll just do, you know, the longest one that I have time. If I know that a lot is happening inside of me, though, I will spend, you know, the 60 minutes doing it. Wednesday, I have a really big gap in my day where I'll do a really long one, like a 60, 90-minute one, where it's just really, you know, just watching what's happening inside of my mind. And I wish everyone would do those things. When people come to me and they ask me questions about really anything, I don't really feel like it's my place to answer any question for anyone in their life. I think that we should all walk the path that is inside of us. I think that the hardest part is being able to clear out the fog of our path, and I think that meditation and those Akashic Records, kind of silly ones, but anything like that, man, if you're able to listen to your heart, it's all inside there. It really is. It takes a lot of practice, but all of that shit is inside of there. So if there is any advice that I can give to anyone, it's like, yeah, just spend some time by yourself breathing. You know, that's my answer 9 times out of 10 for any life question that I have or any life question that someone has for me.